Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's just make sure that we are working here and everything's working right. Give me 1 second here to just double check and make sure that you all can hear me and all of that fun stuff. Yep. Okay. Let's see here. It looks like everything is working perfectly. Hey everyone. Welcome to the channel, Caring Connections with Faith. I happen to be the Faith in that. Uh-oh, did you see that guy wipe out? This guy that actually is going on his rollerblades, he's been here for the last 30 minutes or so, and he's been going back and forth, and the guy is amazing on his rollerblades. He's been like, he can skate forwards and backwards and flip around. It's really amazing. So I've been watching him. I've been enjoying him practicing today. So that's what I've been up to for the last little bit anyway, here at the park that I love so much. Anyway, so my name is Faith, and what is the point of being here today, you might ask? And I just felt really strongly a couple of months ago that one thing that we were sorely lacking on this planet is a place where people can show up however they are. You can come broken, you can come hurting, you can come excited, you can come exhausted, you can come and show up however it is you find yourself, and know that you are loved, you are cared for, you are enough, all of those things, right? Because I have been through lots and lots of stuff. You name it, health challenges, mental challenges, physical challenges. I have been through it all. Lost my home, lost the ability for my child to live with me, like lots, right? So I'm coming from a place of I totally get it. And if I can offer a shoulder or a listening ear to someone else in their time, then that will be amazing for me. I have almost died twice, and I believe that I am still on this planet to be here for a purpose, to be helpful, to share my story, and to be a safe place for people that might be having a storm themselves. So that's what we're doing here, and we're doing it now live on YouTube. I'm thinking about maybe streaming on multiple platforms at the same time and just see if that would help grow the community, because really this is not just about me. I would love it if we could get a community of people that come together and we all support each other, right? So that, like I'm not always having a great day either. And some days I could use someone to reach out to and say, hey, I'm having a bad day. The other night, I actually had some really amazing news, and I was like, man, I would love to share this with the whole world. And, my immediate family knew, my two older kids knew. It's actually a surprise for my youngest daughter, and that surprise is hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be happening tonight. So I know that she's not watching, but so I won't spoil the surprise just in case she pops in. Anyway, so um, that's some exciting thing that you can look forward to. We do these streams on Tuesday and Friday now. So Friday, hopefully, if all goes well tonight, I'll have some exciting news to share with you on Friday. And getting back to our stream here, on Friday, we are going to open my memory box. So I'm going to show you a sneak peek today on the stream, but Friday we're going to open a whole thing, and I'm going to show you some of the really special things that are in my memory box and why they are important and why I feel that it's important to have these memory items, whether they're memory stones or memory boxes or however you do memories. That's what we're going to talk about today, the importance of remembering. So if you are here in the chat and you wanted to say hello, that would be awesome. I would love, love, love. The whole point is not just me blabbing on and on and on, but to this channel to be interactive and people to say hello. And if you are watching the replay later on, feel free to say hello in the comments and share what you have in your life as memory stones, however that looks like. It might be something like a journal entry, or it might be something that you bought on vacation to remember something. So I'm going to show you lots and lots of my memory stones on Friday. But today we're going to just touch on the topic and try to figure out if they're really important, why they might be important, and how they can be useful. Okay? So that's what we're doing today. So let's get started, and we'll talk about first my thumbnail for today. And that thumbnail for today was of Stonehenge, right? It's a very, very, very famous memorial, stone memorial. And let's talk about the significance, right? That pile of stones is there and has stood the test of time, right? Stonehenge was built over 4,000 years ago, and it's still there. Everybody can go and look at it today. So let's talk about the significance. Stonehenge is in England, and there have been like reproductions of it. I know there's one with cars that is here in America. Anyway, so for Stonehenge, it is the most literal, physical stone memorial that we have today, right? So it was built around 3000 to 2000 BC, guys, like crazy, crazy old. And it's been considered by archaeologists and historians as the massive ring of standing bluestones, and it was built as a giant ancestral monument and memorial site. So ancient people spent generations. It didn't happen overnight, right? They had to move these massive stones, 25-ton rocks, without any modern technology. There were no cranes. There was no easy way to do this. And yet, for whatever reason, the people that built Stonehenge felt that this was massively important. And look what's happened. It's still there today, and millions of people go and visit that site every year to go and see Stonehenge because it's so famous, right? So their family built it as a memorial, and here it is still today, and reminding people of their legacy. Okay, so that is probably the most famous set of memorial stones that we have in history, right? So another really great example that is of memories and memorials is the Rosetta Stone, and this is not an actual stone, right? This is a decree. So the Rosetta Stone it's a stone tablet. So some people might remember in the Bible, and I try not to get all preachy, and I try not to, get all crazy and be pushing my beliefs on people here in this channel, but my beliefs shape a huge part of who I am. And so in the Bible, the first stone tablet would have been the Ten Commandments. And we know that we have those replicas of the Ten Commandments many, many, many places in the world. Okay, so the Rosetta Stone is discovered in 1799. It's a slab of granodiorite, and it contained the exact same text carved in 3 languages: ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, Demotic script, and ancient Greek. So it unlocked a lot of abilities to read ancient hieroglyphics. So it preserves history that could have easily been forgotten over time. And because we have this stone, we have something that would have been lost easily if this had not been carved in stone, that will not deteriorate over time, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple more famous stones in history, but let me tell you about why I think that stones of remembrance or memorial stones are super, super important, both to me personally and in general. Okay? So, because of my open heart surgery, I struggle with something called pump head. Okay? You can look it up if you want to and do some research, and you will realize that pump head is a real, legitimate side effect that many people struggle with because of open heart surgery. And something happens when they take your heart and they put it on a bypass machine to try and artificially keep the heart going and your body going while they do the repairs on the heart, right? So something happens as a result of that bypass machine that permanently alters your brain and the structure of your brain. And so many people, I'm in a group called the Zipper Club, and it's we call ourselves the Zipper Club because it looks like we have a zipper in our chest where we were cut open for the open heart surgery. And part of that, in that group, many people um, complain of brain fog and the inability to remember stuff, some short term, some long term. Anyway, so that is something that is a very real struggle for me. There's lots of times where I'm in the middle of a sentence and I can't think of what comes next in the sentence. And I forget things. My kids will ask me, "Well, don't you remember this?" And I'm like, "No, are you sure?" Yeah. Okay. It's just because I have a legitimate thing where my brain doesn't remember. However, I'm going to suggest that while I have an extreme um, version of forgetfulness, I would suggest that all of us across the board as humanity typically tend to forget important events, and something can be greatly significant in a moment of time. And as time passes, the significance of that moment can easily be forgotten, right? So, what do we do? Because those things are important to us for a reason. A lot of them are really life changing things that happen to us. And then we just totally forget that they happened. So, how all this started was yesterday. I was talking to my son and my daughter-in-law, Elena, and we were talking about different things like having to sell the house and how our lives have changed since then. And my son looked at me and said, "How great!" Here comes the guy again. There he goes. Um, how much that our life has changed since selling the house, right? And he was going through all of the steps. If he went even back even further than that, then when we were talking about it, he's like, if I hadn't gone during COVID, how COVID was such a hard time for so many people, and because it was a hard time, and I was not very well health wise during COVID, so my son actually moved to Texas temporarily, and he went and he lived with my sister and her family so that he would have cousins around and he would have stuff to do even while we were in lockdown, because just being with me all the time who couldn't do anything wasn't really fun. And when he went to live with my sister, then he went to work at the facility that she worked at too. So because of that, COVID, and him going to Texas to live with my sister, then he gained experience. He had already had his culinary degree, but he gained experience in food service in an assisted living facility. And then that chain of events now ties directly into the events that make his life wonderful today. But how easy is it for us to forget, right? That way back when, in 2020, I went and I lived with my aunt in Texas, and that totally changed my life, right? So, another example from my own life is when I was seeing a therapist way back in like late 2000s, 2008, late, yeah, I think around 2008, I started seeing that therapist. And when we would have a breakthrough in therapy, we would be discussing whatever, and she had this bowl of little tiny stones. And anytime we had a breakthrough in therapy where I really felt like I had an aha moment, she would hold out the bowl of stones and say, pick one, because we are creating memories here. And so I had a little pile. I had like 5 of them, I think, or 6, that were different colored stones. And I have kept those stones because they remind me of breakthroughs in my life that I had in therapy. And I'm going to give you a little peek here in my memory box, which we're going to discuss and look at on Friday in great detail. I have another little bag of stones. And it doesn't look like anything. It looks just like a little bag. But I know when I look at this bag of stones, it has meaning. It has meaning not only for me, but for my son. Here's the bag of stones. There's only 4 little stones in there. So to most people, they may not mean anything. But these stones are a memory for me. And they were gotten at a museum. And that day at the museum, my son got to spend the day with his father. And it's one of the only memories, but one of the only times he got to spend with his father. And so there they are. He bought these with his dad at the gift shop at the museum. And I have them because it's an important memorial to me of that day, of that moment, of how hard we fought to make a great life for him, even as he was a little tiny guy. So yeah, so that's one example, and then the stones that I haven't shown you from my own therapy, but that is a perfect example of why I think it's important to have memorial stones. So let's think of what I've researched about stones of remembrance. So what happens is, all right, so when we have stones of remembrance or memory stones, they give us a physical representation of a period or something that we have already survived, right? Normally, that's why we have them, because we've gone through something hard, or we have had something really great happen to us that we want to save and remember. So, where is one of the first instances that we have of memory stones? And again, this channel is not about preaching or Bible thumping or anything like that. However, because my faith is so foundational in my life, the first example that we have in history is in the Bible. And I think it's super cool. The verse in the Bible is mentioned in the book of Joshua. It's in Joshua chapter 4. And so the people of Israel had been enslaved in Egypt, and they were totally saved from that slavery situation that they were in, and they were brought out of captivity into freedom. And they had to cross the Red Sea. Like that's in the story of Moses um, in the movie Moses. Like it's famous. Like everyone knows about the Red Sea crossing, where the people are there on the shore, and the army is coming to get them and take them back into captivity, and they're like, oh my gosh, we're stuck here. And Moses takes his rod and parts the sea, right? And so they walk all across the sea, and then the Egyptians are coming after them. And once all of the Israelites get onto the other side on dry land, then the water goes back over, and so they are free and they are able to escape. So that after that happened, then in Joshua chapter 4, there Joshua says to the people, we're going to pick up some stones here on the other side of the Red Sea. Maybe it's not the Red Sea. Maybe it's the Jordan River. Anyway, so they took each family. There were 12 tribes, so each tribe took a stone. And they carried that stone to a place called Gilgal, which is a historic site. And they set up these stones, right? And so it was supposed to be a memory that when they journeyed past this group of stones, then the children would ask, what is that pile of rocks, right? And the parents would then show them, remind them of the history of their freedom and how they got the freedom and why it was important. So it wasn't just for the generation that was there to not forget, but it was for generations to come. And we still talk about it today, right? The Red Sea is still a famous story that lots of people hear today. And then there was many times in the Bible where these stones were collected and set up to be a memorial or a remembrance. There is the Ebenezer stone that was set up by Samuel. That's in 1 Samuel 7:12, and that was also another remembrance of how God saved people, right? So the whole idea is to help us not forget when we've come through a hard time, etc. Stuff like that. Okay? All right. So it would be really, really great if you are in the chat, or if you are watching the replay. Do you have things that have happened in your life, good or bad, and you have some sort of memorial that you have created? That would be really awesome if you would just leave it in the chat or leave a comment, and because we're going to talk about it again on Friday, and we're going to go through my memory box and try to figure out why this stuff might be important to people. Okay? And maybe, maybe you'll pop in and you'll be like, well, I am 20 and I don't have any idea that I don't think any of this stuff is going to be important. And that would be fine too. I'm not opposed to um, opinions that disagree with mine. And maybe you think that this is just a bunch of hogwash and it's really not important at all. And that would be cool too. Have at it. Whatever you think. I know that I have shown this memory box to my kids at various times in their life, and I have gotten sometimes a reaction of like, why are you saving this stuff? Like, what does it matter? Right? So you tell me, what do you think? Doesn't matter to you, doesn't matter to the world, do you think? I will say that I think that there has to be something to this, right? Because we as a people, not just people of faith, but people in general, have this urge to set up memorials, right? We do it at a grave site so that people can go when a loved one dies to go back there and remember their life. We do it. There's been many memorials. Uh, the there's so many, like so many memorials that have been erected in the world so that people have a place to go. So it might not just be something that we carry with us, but it might be this big, massive place where people can gather together, right? So let's talk about, sometimes it's easy to be thankful when we have finished a hard time or come through a hard time, but that is really abstract. So if we have something physical that marks that moment, it could be something as simple as a journal entry that you go back and read, or a ritual that we do this every day on the memorial of something. My good friend Frank's, another reason why I'm thinking about memorials, my good friend Frank passed away 2 years in just a few days. It will be the 2-year anniversary of his passing. And so on the day of his passing, that is going to be a Thursday. So maybe the Tuesday before or the Friday, I will show you the memorial that I have of Frank. And I will show you that. We'll see. But I do have something that's so precious, and it's actually on my key ring. So it goes with me everywhere I go, that brings Frank with me. And it was so special. I'm so glad that we were able to do it when he was in hospice. Anyway, so I'll show you that. So that's something to look forward to as well. So it gives us something tangible to hold on to, and it's not just this abstract, I'm so thankful for Frank's life. But every time I see this, I'm reminded of the times I had with Frank and how fantastic and wonderful that was. Okay? And also, in lots of cultures throughout the world, they have this same idea. I need to actually find the movie. There's a movie that he has this pouch of stones, and he takes them out, and I know what it is. It's With Honors. I love that movie. So let's talk about With Honors on Friday too. I'll have to write that down so I don't forget. Um, he has a stone to remember one night of sleep, right? So it's really cool, super cool. So we'll talk about that on Friday too. But yeah, so it gives us something tangible to hold on to, so that we don't lose those huge, um, huge memories, right? All right, so we don't need to have a huge pile of rocks. We can just have something, even something small, that makes us stop, look back, and look at how far we've come, or a huge breakthrough we had in our lives, or maybe something really amazing. So one example would be, and it's not a rock, although it is kind of a rock. This ring was my engagement ring for marriage number 2. If you're not familiar with my life, I have been married twice. I have 2 failed marriages. Yay me. The first one was to a man that was very, very abusive, physically, emotionally, and as a result, that's how I actually have um, allowed my papers, original papers, after my student visa ran out, was as a spouse, a battered spouse of an American citizen. That's how I have status here in the U.S. And then I proceeded to go through all of the things and get my citizenship and all that. But originally, I came After my student visa ran out, I was here as a battered spouse of an American citizen. So that was marriage number one. Marriage number two was to a man who was not able to be true to the vows he made on our wedding day. And was not able to provide the stability and, all of those things that we needed in our marriage to make it successful. So, but he is the one that gave me this ring, and he knew that one of the people that I look up to and admire and endeavor to shape my life to be like is Princess Diana, the late Lady Diana Spencer. She married Prince Charles, and they were supposed to live happily ever after. I remember watching their wedding and thinking, wow, this is like a fairy tale coming true, right? And then how quickly did it all turn south, and we realized that, the whole time that he was with Camilla and not being true to the vows he made to her, to Diana, and, how amazingly strong she was through so much that she went through. Anyway, so her engagement ring looks something similar to this. So why do I wear my old engagement ring that reminds me of a failed marriage? I wear it as a testament to Lady Diana's strength and her character in the face of the very person that promised to take care of her and love her and shield her and all of those things to give her that fairy tale. That person turned out to be someone who was not trustworthy and not someone that she could count on. And she did not let that break her. Instead, she chose love and kindness and compassion and did so much good in the world. And her most accomplishing triumph is the raising of her two boys, right? Because those two boys have gone on to continue the legacy that their mom instilled in them of kindness and compassion and love for others. And so that legacy continues, even though she is no longer with us, sadly. So that this ring is a memorial stone to me that I look at every single day, right? It doesn't leave my finger. So it's a constant remembering that if I'm having a bad day and I might choose to get impatient, that no, that's not okay. I still have a legacy to live up to where I treat people with kindness and compassion no matter what is going on in my personal life. So that's a reminder that I carry with me every day. And I think, a wedding ring is a reminder that we share with each other, right? The spouse gives a ring, and we receive a ring as a token of that commitment and what we're saying on that day. Today actually is my sister's 19th wedding anniversary. Can you imagine? How can we be so that old that we could be, like my sister could be married for almost 20 years? Yikes. Anyway, it is, and sending lots of love to Sarah and Jason because they are a true example of what marriage should be and a great example for me, for sure, of what love looks like, no matter what, whether it's easy, whether it's hard, whether you feel like it. Just Jason's dedication to that family and love and courage, and I mean, just to take such good care of them is just unbelievable. And watching my sister, grow in communication and becoming this amazing human because of that interaction and growing and learning with Jason. It's unbelievable. But anyway, that's another example. I'm running on and on and on here. So we're going to wrap it up. So that's my 2 cents for today. It's just a little tiny example of why I think it's so important It's something that's crazy important to me, this idea of remembering. So Friday, we're going to have a look. There's lots and lots of stuff in there. So we'll have a look and see what's in there, and I'll tell you some of the hardest times of my life and some of the best times of my life are in there. So we'll open that on Friday. Again, I would love it, love it, love it if you would take the time to just pop in, either on the replay or the chat, and you would just write down, or you could even send me an email. Drop me an email at caringconnectionswithfaith, all lowercase. Anytime you want to reach out, I am there. It's that email is totally dedicated to you guys. If you want to reach out, if you have ideas about how to make this channel better, that would be fantastic. Anything you want to share, I would love to hear it. Anyway, so let me know what you think about the whole idea of memory stones and having something tangible to remember your growth and happy times and sad times and all of those things. Anyway, so I am going to sign off for calling me. So I'll go call him back, and I will talk with you all this coming Friday at 11. Okay? Sending you lots and lots and lots of love. Take good care, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.